Hey guys, welcome to a new video. Well, this is definitely much different from the other videos I've made, so without further ado, I'll just let this video explain itself. I am an aspiring filmmaker. Over a year ago, I attended a careers convention and discovered the Australian Film, Television and Radio School, commonly known as AFTRS. At first, I thought that going to this was the perfect idea, but I knew that my chances of getting in were pretty low considering the grades to get in needed to be high and you need a creative portfolio, which I also did not have. So, initially in response to this, I started looking for alternative film schools, some of which I would have qualified for. But in doing so, I came across some discoveries that revealed why film school isn't advised for a person seeking an exciting career in filmmaking. As a result, I dumped plans to go to film school and now completely oppose it. This video is to show other aspiring filmmakers why they should not go to film school and make the same mistake that I almost made. Remember that I'm not an industry expert and I haven't gone to film school as I said before, but everything I'm going to tell you is based on my own research and I've done quite a lot of it. And it will reveal to you things that film schools do not want you to know. So anyways, that's my introduction, and I hope you enjoy my video. Before I talk about film schools in the modern period, I figured I should provide you a little bit of history. In the late 1920s, the early film studios in Hollywood operated programs that would train people to work on film sets. Students had to pay for their own education, and then they would subsequently be hired to work in factories if the studios deemed their work worthy. It was a very effective business practice because the studios were essentially being paid to train workers whom they would hire later on anyway. That's essentially what film schools are, businesses. The film schools run by these studios eventually split and became parts of Californian universities. The 1970s was a big change for the film industry. It was when the modern era of filmmaking was beginning to emerge and the way films were made and who by had completely changed. Instead of being run by old studio executives, younger filmmakers had ushered in and taken the world by storm with all these new movies. Among these people were a few film school graduates who had made some major hits. Francis Ford Coppola had made The Godfather, George Lucas made Star Wars, and Martin Scorsese had made Taxi Driver. Many people, including studios, started to believe that film school was the way to go to achieve fame and fortune. Film schools grew in numbers during the 70s and 80s, and studios had hired people based on having a film school degree. Naturally, it was a disaster, and studios stopped hiring film school grads, but the common man didn't learn from this, so film schools still operate today. Now let's look at the opinions of potential employers towards film school. Here are some comparisons. To become a doctor, you require a vast amount of knowledge to pass exams. You have to go to medical school for this. Medical schools will give you a degree that allows you to practice medicine. Lawyers also need a lot of knowledge. You need to go to law school to become a lawyer. You may think that going to film school means you become a filmmaker, but that simply isn't the case. Think about it this way. If you studied literature and then tried to get a job writing a book, you would fail. The publisher is more interested in what books you've written. Film is like that. Having a degree in film means nothing to producers. They are more keen on seeing what films you have actually made and how good they are. These people view film schools and their degrees as a joke essentially. It's a very important thing to remember. On top of that, unlike a doctor or a lawyer, the knowledge you need to become a filmmaker is actually pretty minimal in comparison. Now let's discuss the quality of film schools. It'd be nice if film school teachers were great filmmakers, but most of them aren't. You will not be personally taught by Quentin Tarantino. Film school teachers often have not had much experience in the film industry. They likely have not made many films, and many, apparently that is, have not even completed a single screenplay. Would you really want to be taught by someone like that? Equipment in film schools is usually out of date too, even in the most highly regarded film schools in the world. There's not much use going to a film school if you won't learn on equipment relevant to the modern film industry. Film schools rarely have actual industry contacts. While this isn't universal, if they did, finding work may be a bit easier. But even so, you'd still have a hard time finding a job that pays favorably. Lastly, film school is far too expensive. Going to film school will put you in debt for a very, very long time, and you will have trouble actually financing films in the future. Given what I've already mentioned, are you really willing to pay so much for a degree that means so little and an education that's below standards? I'd hope not. When talking about film school, it'd be right to comment on the success rates. Less than 10% of film school grads who attended major film schools such as UCLA and New York University are able to achieve a sustainable position in the film industry. Try to imagine the success rates for a lesser known school, or industry for that matter. If we were talking about another industry, you would say that these schools are an absolute scam. Film schools do not want people to know this because it would mean the end of their business. Alright, now I'm going to discuss the importance of connections when it comes to getting jobs in the film industry. I'm going to explain a case study to you. There were two girls who went to film school. One of them was a great academic, and the other had a relative who was in the film industry. The academic passed many exams, got high results, and graduated at the top of her class. When she got out of film school, she had a very hard time trying to get a job that would actually pay favorably, so she decided to do something else with her life. The girl who had a famous relative only performed averagely in the film school, and when she got out, she eventually got a decently paying job in the film industry. It just goes to show that the film school did absolutely nothing. The contacts were far more important. People should be more focused on trying to build them as opposed to going to film school and trying to learn, because it's simply just not going to give you the industry contact requirements that you will need. Okay guys, let's talk about filmmakers who are against film school. Most major filmmakers did not go to film school. Quentin Tarantino, Robert Rodriguez, Sam Raimi, Paul Thomas Anderson, and Werner Herzog actively speak against it. Others, such as Spielberg, Kubrick, Hitchcock, James Cameron, Joel and Ethan Coen, Akira Kurosawa, and Brian De Palma, are some of the people in the film industry who never actually went to film school. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. There also exist filmmakers such as Kevin Smith and Woody Allen who did go, but they often attribute their success to other things such as actually making films and writing screenplays. There are many alternatives to film school. There are short workshops that you can attend. Most of these workshops occur over the course of a few days, but some maybe even over the course of a couple of months. You know, typically there's a session that happens once a week. You can find them all over the place, and they're typically inexpensive. There also exist DVD courses. I've actually been interested in purchasing a DVD course. They can be expensive, but typically they come in very large box sets, have workbooks to go along with it. It's surely worth the money. Dov Simmons' 2-day film school has its own DVD course, and he is the most highly regarded film instructor in the world, so that would definitely be something to look into. Another way to learn about filmmaking is simply to watch movies and think about it. Many filmmakers have actually learned how to direct films by doing this, such as Quentin Tarantino. In fact, I myself personally, when I watch movies and I think about them, I find that I can learn a lot of things just through natural instinct. Another way, obviously, is to read books. I've actually started to do it recently, and it's proved to be effective. Take advice from other filmmakers. While you probably don't know any filmmakers personally, you can always look on YouTube or read articles on certain websites about what certain filmmakers recommend. For example, Sam Raimi recommends that you shoot a movie once every weekend, a short film. Quentin Tarantino recommends you make a full-length feature film and learn from that, etc., etc. You can find work as a production assistant and watch and learn from other filmmakers. It may be a bit more difficult to get a job like this, but it would help nonetheless. Also, as Tarantino recommended, learn by actually making movies and improving. I found when I was younger, when I used to make very, very bad short films for my friends and then watching them later on, what we did wrong. Making movies and then improving on what you've done is vital. Filmmaking is all about learning. Finally, guys, here are some important things to remember. Film schools are businesses that want to make money. They aren't interested in talking young filmmakers out of their dreams by telling them the truth that I've just told you. To be a filmmaker, you need luck, creativity, motivation, resilience, and preferably the ability to make good contacts and have good financial organization. Don't go to film school, don't give in to their lie. I really do hope I've helped some of you with this video and that you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.